The amusement industry is constantly changing, with new parks coming and going at a surprising rate. And depending on where you live, today's subject matter could either be pretty exciting or pretty depressing.
Yeah, it's like as one theme park dies, another is born. If anyone's familiar with the Trisha Paytas situation, it's kind of like that.
I'm not even familiar with that situation.
I know people watching are. There are people who are watching this, they're like, yes!
But we are talking about Wild Waves in Washington and Dracula Land in Romania. We'll go one at a time, but we'll start off with the bad news first. If you are a resident of the Seattle region, you are probably already very familiar with the fact that the Pacific Northwest only has a couple options, and they are now about to lose one of the few parks actually out there. This is in Federal Way, just south of Seattle, huge metropolitan area, and they are closing forever at the end of the 2026 season.
So the park has been around since 1977. I have not had the opportunity to visit. I know you did.
I went once.
We almost went together, but we opted out of going and opted to instead go to the fair because most of their rides were not operational. They have 4 operating roller coasters right now, but I feel like when you go to that park, the odds that you get all 4 are like
they definitely have operational struggles. I mean, having been to both Wild Waves and the Washington State Fair, I mean, the Washington State Fair is vastly superior in just about every way.
But it's limited.
Exactly. In Wild Waves, I just feel like it's just untapped potential. I mean, their location is pretty fantastic where they're at, right off the highway. There are millions and millions of people within a very reasonable drive of this property, but I just feel like they have been underperforming in a way that I feel like maybe the operators have been primarily focusing on the water park, but as the theme park goes, I mean, it looked like it needed some major attention when I went back in 2021, I think it was.
Is the water park closing too?
Yeah, all of it is.
Oh, it's all closing.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's definitely a shame, but like, you know, the theme park like scene out there is just like virtually non-existent. And I know the weather has something to do with it. I know
Sure.
The fact that people generally tend to lean more towards like outdoors activities out there probably plays a role. But the press release literally said that they've lost millions of dollars post-COVID. Like that's not something that you often hear a company admit.
Be very transparent about.
You know, to anyone but their like shareholders or whatever. But like this is like, hey, we're telling everybody like we
Here's why
are
we're
in
closing.
trouble and like there's nothing, we don't have another option.
Right. So Wild Waves is operated by Premier Parks. They only operate 4 theme parks as of now. They have a bunch of water parks, but the sister parks would be Litch Gardens in Denver, Magic Springs in Arkansas, and Pacific Park, which is the Santa Monica Pier. And
it's not a great lineup.
it really is not. Like,
I'll be so real.
I'm wondering if this is part of a larger issue within the Premier Parks.
Anywhere. I know everyone thought it was.
It seemed like the vibe was like, oh, that land is on, very expensive. And that's the thing, Wild Waves is on very expensive land. Magic Springs, I also haven't heard great things about. I don't know if it would like go as far as closing, but I know it did at one point. It came back. And
I'd like to go to the national park.
yeah, I'd go to the national park, but I've heard the theme park is kind of sad. And Santa Monica Pier is fine. It's just small.
It's a pier park.
It is.
They're kind of like in their own.
Little different. I'm not worried about that one at all, but I can't help but wonder what exactly is going on here because Premier Park is just the operator, so they don't own the land. They say they hope to develop the land for something that can be still used and enjoyed by the community. What exactly that is, we'll have to wait and see. But if you are wanting to visit before they officially close, their opening day is as planned, May 23rd, and they are closing to the public for good on November 1st. So we do have a year's notice, which is much appreciated when I can think of a lot of attractions we've said goodbye to that had no notice.
Yeah, well, I feel like this is like particularly one that you're going to want to do because you've been trying to get Timberhawk like
I'm
for
0
years.
for 2.
Like, it's just, yeah, that's unfortunate.
Third time's the charm, so I don't know. I might have to try to make it out to Seattle and try actually get on this thing. But it's sad that we're saying goodbye to Timberhawk because it's one of only a couple operating S&S wind coasters, and in the amusement space, the ride is actually pretty significant because that's where Fred Grubb and Alan Schilke met for the first time, was working on that ride.
Tidbit of knowledge.
They went on to start Rocky Mountain Construction. So like,
I think I've heard of them.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty cool that like that ride is the where it all started. So
that's probably the most spectacular thing about it, though. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
Couldn't tell you. I don't know for sure, but I haven't heard that it's like amazing. So
yeah, it does get forgotten about a lot and overlooked when it comes to wind roller coasters. But yeah, regardless, it's always sad to see a theme park close because you have to remember that these are where a lot of people have their full-time jobs at or seasonal employment. People creating years and years worth of memories there. And regardless of how sad maybe the park is at the moment, it's always going to be a place that people will enjoy.
Well, and it's also like if you're into theme parks and you live in that area, like what other option do you have? Like if you want your fix, that's where you're going.
I feel like Seattle deserves so much better. Like I think that I've been saying for years a good indoor theme park I feel like is what Seattle needs. So like right now, hey Mattel, if you want to put one of your parks up in Seattle.
Well, let's see if they can get one of the already planned ones open first.
Yeah. But as one park goes, another is born. And this one all the way in Romania, a country that is not really known for theme parks at all.
But is known for something else.
Dracula's castle that all those stories are based off of is north of Bucharest, but they want to put this actually just outside of Bucharest. They're talking 15 minutes from the main airport, 20 minutes from the city center, and it's part of a much larger plan that will also include an outlet mall, a water park, multiple hotels, a circuit, an arena. Like it is a huge master plan that this investment group is looking to do, but Dracula Land is of course the part that interests us the most.
This is definitely really, really cool. Obviously, we just had Universal Monsters Land open up at Epic Universe recently, and that area of the park is spectacular. And like, I'm not expecting this park to necessarily have that level of thematics, but I think that just kind of like the dark, ominous feel is really different than most theme parks that are more like bright and colorful and la la la.
Well, people are like drawn to that. They talk about how like the Dracula character has inspired thousands of novels, about 200 movies, with the castle itself receiving over 1 million visitors a year. So they're trying to point out that like, hey, look, there's a lot of interest in Dracula. Like it's a worldwide known character. They're talking 192 acres, 6 themed lands, and 40 plus rides and attractions.
Yeah, that doesn't sound overly ambitious at all.
I think this whole plan is very, very ambitious. It almost sounds like too good to be true.
Well, this is the thing. How many theme parks have been like announced and then you never hear about them again, and then it's just like, I don't know. I have lost, it feels like a boy who cried wolf situation. I've lost a little bit of faith. Like,
yeah, you have to take a lot of these announcements with a grain of salt and kind of
like a big old heaping of them.
You have to kind of read between the lines and see where they're at. So like one of the big points of what they say, that they're seeking investors. So that means that
they have no money.
They're saying this is a €1 billion investment.
But they have none.
Oh, I don't know if I'd say none. I think
they don't have $1 billion.
They don't have $1 billion. So that means that we are nowhere near close to breaking ground, right? So this is...
Well, I don't know. That seems to contradict their plans.
Their plans say 2025 breaking ground, with 2027 opening, which is not going to happen. There's no way. There's no way. Here's the thing: is like I feel like every time a new theme park is announced, like it never actually opens on time. So yeah, these projections I think are completely wildly out of touch.
They're clearly made by somebody who has no concept of how any of this works,
or how long it takes to build
I don't mean
a
to
theme
be
park.
Insulting in any way. Maybe I'm sounding like a brat. It's just like when you're trying to gauge like how realistic you think these things are, you have to like not only look at like what the ideas are, but also can you tell if they're knowledgeable or not. Like when I see clearly AI artwork, or like if you're saying we're going to be open in 2 years, like that's ridiculous. It's not just ambitious. It's just not possible.
Right.
So that's where I start to get red flags of like, I don't know. Even if your ideas are good or whatever, like you clearly don't know what you're doing, and you have to know what you're doing to do this.
I do want to mention that there are people who are involved in the theme park space when it comes to attraction plans and designs that are involved with this project. Creative Studio Berlin is the actual designers of the theme park itself. You guys might be familiar with them because they actually planned and designed the entire Austria section of Europa Park after it burned down. So they were able to quickly come up with a plan, and that area turned out fantastic.
Oh, yeah,
so like these are capable people of it, and I want to...
It was fast.
You also have to look at the artwork because like, yes, there's a lot of AI, and while I am not a big fan of that, I can also acknowledge that there is artwork in here that was clearly designed by the studio. You can actually go on their website and see the work that they did, and that's a bit more broad master planning where you can see, okay, here's a couple of their ideas, and then I kind of perceive as the AI artwork is to kind of fill in the gaps, and I look at it more as like, here's the vibe they're going for instead of like, here's the specifics of what it will look like. It's like, it's trying to evoke a tone. The creative studio plans are more of what you can actually look at and say, okay, here's what we can probably expect. Now, what can we expect should this actually happen? We mentioned 6 themed lands. That is the Moonlit District, which is your entrance plaza inspired by Bucharest architecture. Family Kingdom, bit more of a supernatural vibe. Transylvania, then you have Dracula's Castle, which they're gonna have a roller coaster in. That's exciting. Port of New Orleans, and London town. They're planning a large lake in the center. The pathways are gonna go all the way around it. They're gonna build a replica of Bran Castle.
What's the point of building a replica of something that's so close by? Like, I understand replicas in places that are, like, far away.
I mean, why?
This feels very California Adventure.
Why did Disney build a California theme park in California? I don't know.
And now, and they're trying to change that.
Yeah. They're also planning an interactive dark ride, a flying theater. They say there'll be an obstacle course. There's a B&M wing coaster there. So, I mean, their ideas are pretty solid. Like, I think all these things would work.
The whole vibe and aesthetic of, like, that old gothic, old classic Monsters vibe, I mean, we love it.
I think it would be well received.
It'd be great if they do it well.
And they think it will be well received too, because they are projecting 3 million visitors, which is, again, I think wildly ambitious. Look, I think that this park would be well received, but 3 million visitors upon opening is
It's something.
a little wild.
I mean, that'd be awesome. Don't get me wrong.
I'm going to prevent myself from like getting excited until I see actual ground being broken, things going vertical, and you know, then I will realize as okay, this is actually happening. Because I mean, again, when it comes to that, they're planning a theme park, multiple Dracula themed hotels, an indoor water park, stadium. It's like, okay, how much of this will actually happen? Because there's no way they do it all at once, right?
How do you do multiple hotels themed to Dracula?
I said there'll be the Dracula Inn, the Dracula Family Hotel.
That's a lot of Dracula. I saw somebody said they should have called it Dracula Land, and like they're so right.
Yeah, that feels like a missed opportunity.
Dracula Land.
Yeah, that kind of rolls off the tongue better.
Dracula Land feels a little...
It's not too late. If anyone from Dracula Land is watching this and you want some ideas, call us. We can help you out.
But don't ask us for money, because we do not have a billion euros.
We'll come visit. We'll come put it on Coaster Studios, because I mean, it is a great idea. And like, again, Romania is not known for theme parks.
I'll meet Dracula.
I would absolutely go visit and check this place out. So I hope that things go well for them. I wish them the best of luck.
Me too. I do. I never wish ill on any like big new project. I want people to succeed. I feel like this is like a recurring trend.
I will believe it when I see it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but you can let us know down in the comments below. What do you think of this whole Dracula Land plan for Romania? And what do you think of Wild Waves closing in Seattle? Can you believe that we managed to tie in both Wild Waves and Dracula Land into one video? Like,
it's special.
If it wasn't for the timing,
and Trisha Paytas came up too.
There's no way any of these would be in the same conversation as each other, but here we are. So anyways, thank you guys so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.